Alright, we'll call this meeting to order. So, we approved minutes, we approved October 2021 minutes. And you got a chance to make a motion to approve of this rule. Second. All in favor? Second is to approve October 19th, 2021 warrant.
We approve the warrant.
Second. All in favor? Yeah, I think you did.
That's my notes. Oh, that's a big one.
Alright, Dan, you're out.
Okay. I don't know if I can get up. Alright. There's a couple of abatements and stuff. Basically what had happened was, an entity had, cut some land off. It was, Steve Estes to Don. When I got processed through the office, the daycare didn't go with it. So it was just interpreted to be vacant land, so we're correcting that now.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of flip-flopping some land between the two of them, because I know they just supposedly sold the daycare, and then it's resupping it back. So we abate what happened and resup it back. So
Okay.
it's not super complicated, but. There's my copies, it's gonna be Deb's copy for that. That's abating, SPE Corporation, this is abating, SPE.
Okay.
Brings us back down to ground zero. Thank you. And then this is just turning around and stuffing the same parcels back, but back corrected now.
Yeah.
Shows you what that is. What they were, what the parcels are.
Okay. Okay, I'll listen to those.
Yep, that's it, yeah. I hold a bunch of my copies, so I can throw them in the 3-ring binder, and then I go to them.
Oops.
packet I also have there for you. Make sure I get signed. Okay. Basically, new laws have been enacted, some which started yesterday, October 18th. Highlighted some that may be of interest, not generally just to you guys, but to all the towns, so some may not apply to you, some do. The biggest thing I'd bring back to your attention would be on the second page, under exemptions, got the homestead exemption program, so just wanted to bring it to your guys' attention that starting with the 2022 commitment, reimbursements for homesteads will be jumping up to 73%, go from 70 to 73. Their goal is 3% per year for the next 10 years to eventually reach 100% reimbursement. The other issue with my little sketch and drawing on here, we read through this down in my office, and I went back to my deputy who's been doing this for 40 years, and like, Bruce, read this, because I think I understand what it means, but I want your opinion. And we both agree, throwing the question towards main rev and want some clarification, but this deals with your state valuation, so you guys understand the certified ratio. So based on your sales, it's the separation of the assessed values versus what's actually happening for sales, which is why we did a reval. We brought it back to 100%. But as they start to separate, with this economy we just have right now, kind of slow it down a little bit, but you might be assessed here, but all of a sudden sales are starting to do this. Okay. So you start creating a percentage difference between the two. So in other words, if you were assessed at $50,000 on a house, and it's selling for $100,000, your certified ratio would be 50%. Okay. We have been able to, as assessors, you're able to declare back to the state. You can either accept their certified ratio. We keep it the simple math, right? So we'll say, well, this thing is can't legally be at 50, but I'm just saying we'll keep it simple like that. We've been able to go within 10% one way or the other, okay, for a total of a 20% move. That's how the law was written. This overwrites the law, okay, stated here, Title 36, 383, changes it from 20% to within 10%. We're not 100% clear because there's no, the legislature does whatever the legislature does. No clarification, no definition. I printed off the LD1, it's about this long, and I'm like, oh, that's helpful, and so, but our understanding would be that it probably would follow suit. So instead of being, so let's go use real numbers. So instead of being at 90%, state comes back and says you're at 90% certified ratio. As assessors, we're able to move that to 10% of that number. So 10% of 90 is 9 percentage points this way. So you bring it up to 99 because you want to get as close to 100 for your reimbursements on homesteads, things like that. We can also move it down 10%. So if you were at 110% or something like, we can bring it back down. You could. This now says, basically, our understanding is 5%, 5%. So not going to affect you guys quite as much right now. It's on my towns, because now they've put the squash on me being able to reach closer to that 100%. And so not only are we falling because of sales in some of my towns, but it's also not going to allow me to stretch as far as I could before. Oh, yeah. So the individual taxpayer is going to be affected with their homesteads dwindling down a lot faster. Again, not going to affect Baldwin because you guys are certifying at 100, but just wanted to bring it to your attention. Yep. Good reading.
Yeah, really.
Okay. So, Bob had forwarded me a proposed budget. I don't know if you guys seen that, but maybe copies that. You must have that, right? Proposed budget.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know what you had. I didn't know what these guys had seen or whatnot.
Well, they've all seen on email.
I didn't make copies, okay. So anyway, so I took these numbers from his proposed budget and kind of plugged them into a tax rate calc sheet. Okay. Which you guys have a copy of. Yeah. I kind of gave you two options. A couple things, I had some questions on this that I didn't quite fully understand. Why some things were in red?
Those were either changes or things that we haven't done in the past. Okay. That's just,
I mean, I just took
it's a highlight, yeah.
Okay. And then The other thing that you had carried over for that 6-month period was a $29,000 overlay, am I understanding that
Yeah,
right?
I plugged it in
You can do whatever you want, you guys' decision, I think that's a lot, you know, for the 6 months, so what I did, I plugged in as close to that, you have one option that's $6.50 on your mill, which gives you an overlay of 26,000, and then I also just gave you a $6.40, which gives you 8,200 on your overlay. Reason why, I don't know if you need to grab quite that much again, for the commitment that's behind us, okay, for your 2021 year, we grabbed about that much. I have the number right directly in front of me.
Yeah, we did,
Right?
Yep.
So those abatements we're processing right now. I did also provide you guys with copies of where we stand with the abatements and where we stand with the supplements right now. So for that 29,000 currently limited, this gets a little sticky because, we have 185 days from that commitment date of August 24, which brings us into February. We do another commitment, like I told them, leaning towards January, right after the holidays. You know, your bills aren't gonna be till May, am I right on that?
Right.
So definitely be fine in January then, and we'll get past the holidays and then do that. That's gonna create, at least my understanding would be that it would create another 185-day window for abatement. However, we're committing with the exact same valuation data that we did for April 1st, with the exception of the abatements and supplements. Because nobody's touching the system,
Yep.
no sales changing, nothing's changing, except for when I process abatements, I'm changing those, so then we do the next commitment for the 6 months, we don't wanna do this again. You know, we don't wanna abate them again. So they're gonna be correct. So I don't foresee a massive amount of people coming up to you during that 6-month period saying, hey, I need an abatement, that we're not gonna already be dealing with right now. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So, your call on what you wanna do there, I mean, but I just had to bring that to your attention. So on this chart right now, what we've processed is $5,808.40 worth of abatement as far as tax dollar. And we've sucked back $6,344.
Down on read that.
So, I mean, so, you know, it's, you do have to expend it, you do have to, part of your articles and your warrant that you voted on. But in the end, it's coming out on the positive side, actually, so, right now, so far. Like I say, yeah, I've run brand new numbers as of where we stand right now and plugged them in the system up here, so yes, there has been a little bit of slight changes due to the stuff and abatement, stuff like that, but nothing major. You're holding ground right where we were for the last amendment, so.
So when you went into the spreadsheet, you didn't use any, I don't have it in front of me, but you've got my copy there.
Yes. That's my copy, isn't it? Yeah, that's mine,
Where's mine?
right there.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah, that's in there.
legislation. Okay. So, when you use the spreadsheet, you said that you didn't use any Betty or,
No, you remove that because they're calculated, you never ever calculate those in because they will automatically calculate down here for you. You don't have any control over those. So you don't even throw those into your estimates. They will automatically calculate in the whole equation. You want to keep those out of your other revenue category.
yeah, okay, well, maybe some other time we go through the form with you.
So the only thing I've had to do right now to make this jive, if you will, is cut the homestead and the Betty in half, because you're looking at a 6-month time period. So I got to question them, you know, MRS, how do we do that on here? You know, and that's the other part of, what is this how do we do this as far as the MVR? You know, nothing's really changed as far as valuation, as far as data. So the MVR is the MVR, and I gotta have that in by November 1st, but I'm sure they wanna know what happened with the 6-month commitment. So, my guess is just, we send them a copy of this. I don't have to do another complete MVR, you know what I mean? But I do have some questions as far as what all needs to be done to follow through with this.
Yeah. I think that was what my question was, how do you deal with it?
Yeah, because the only way, I got no control over the blue boxes, the formulas are built into the blue.
Yeah.
So, what really should happen is you should be at full value here. It should tell you what your reimbursement would be for 12 months, and then divided by 2 for the 6 months is what, you know what I mean, if the formula is done right. But to make it work for you, so I can show you some numbers tonight, I had to cut those in half, and just kind of do that the opposite way. So.
Very good. Well, it's just about there.
Give you something to chew on, yeah. The other thing I saw, and wasn't sure if I was reading it right, where you had the 22-23. It looked like, and I may be wrong, but it looked like you were doing a 22-23 fiscal year budget proposals, and there were halves again. I don't know if you were even purposely plugging those numbers in there, or if it was just like
No, I think
waste off to the side.
there was some waste off to the side of that spreadsheet.
This one, here you go, this
So here's the 22 transition, and then there's some crap over here. Yeah,
Here.
that's just,
Okay.
this spreadsheet was much bigger, I just tried to.
Yeah, okay, that's what I figured. I just wanted to, wanted to be clear that, because if that was, you don't want to be half, you want to be full, whatever your budget's gonna be.
Yeah.
Okay. No, other than that, that's the only thing I saw. Other than that, I got nothing else.
Good, thank you.
You guys have anything at all, any questions or anything for me, or?
I know.
We talked before about the vision.
The online?
Yeah.
Yep.
Provided, our budget gets approved.
Did you
We want
factor
it-
that
we want-
into this one?
Yeah.
Yep.
We want it to turn on January 1st.
Yep.
Okay.
I don't see why not, this, we'll have to make sure it got passed, like you say.
Yeah.
I can reach out to them to see, get approval, how that's gonna work, or whatever, because realistically, they should only charge you for half a year as far as I'm concerned, but we'll see what we can do. I mean, if you're only paying from January 1st up to basically June 30th at that,
That's what we budgeted for, and,
I mean, I think it was what, 1,700?
yeah.
Yeah, if I remember right. So, I mean, I'll ask them, they may say no, it's all or nothing, you know, I don't know. Did you budget the full amount?
No?
Okay,
Yeah.
well, let me ask that question then first,
Yep.
yeah. Because you can always just make that adjustment.
No, we didn't put it out on a specific line here and there.
Okay, okay. Good deal.
Yep.
Thanks, Ken. Have a good night.
You too.
Yes,
All right, public hearing date prior to December town meeting. You wanna set that up?
Just a week before is, Thanksgiving, isn't it? So the special town meeting's on the 4th, right, Dan?
Second,
The 2nd.
that's
Oh.
what I, Tuesday the second.
Okay.
Tuesday the second,
No. It can't be. Tuesday, the 2nd is a
Thursday.
Thursday.
Yeah.
I think we said it was Saturday before.
November 2nd is your special town
Oh,
meeting.
November.
Oh, okay, so we're talking about the one that,
Oh,
we're talking about the date prior to the December town meeting.
Oh, I thought you were questioning when.
No, we're following the agenda here. So then that would be, do something on the 30th of November.
November.
Probably would be.
All right.
Tuesday night.
Yeah.
Just if anybody shows up, we can talk about how we came up with everything.
At 6 p.m.
Yes. That good?
Yeah.
I did hear back from Cardinal today, and they said no problem on the warrant and the mailing, and they'll provide a proof like they usually do, so.
That's at, 6 o'clock.
Yeah. Selectmen meeting or? It's a selectmen's meeting night.
Regular selectmen meeting. So that's gonna be November 30th? Right. What did we say today, Danielle, was it the 26th, the 28th?
The 26th is your joint meeting with the planning board.
Okay, it was really a pretty full week there. 26th, so we meeting the planning board?
It's actually a workshop.
With the guy from Southern Maine Planning. Okay. What day was that again? The 6th. November. 7 o'clock.
November, I think, so. October, right? Next Tuesday, you're talking?
No, we've gone back and forth on that. I thought it was like the 9th or something like that. November. I don't know. I'll have to look again, see.
Check, make sure.
Yeah, we talked about this again at the planning board, there was a little confusion there too.
So we'll just scratch the reminders until we confirm it. And that's the next Tuesday.
Should have been Matt's email, I think.
Yeah.
I think the dates and stuff is all in there. Water system discussion. Yeah, first, Danielle, any?
Wondering what direction you guys wanna go in.
Well, we'll discuss a little bit. We had the people who installed the, state to repair it, so it's not leaking. Cause both of the, big tanks have leaked from the top in and out. One of them is leaking pretty bad from the bottom, the other's dripping a little slower, but that's what's causing all the problems, the water in there. And I think Danielle said she would contact Ward Water for the other system. They've given you folks a proposal, I guess, a year or so ago about doing something to that, some repair or maintenance. So once we get to both of those, we can take a look at them and decide whether we want to do it. My opinion is that drinking water is probably one of the most important things that we have here. And the guy from the state, from the water quality service, said that we're filtering out the organic compounds with the state provided charcoal tanks. And he looked at the Ward Water one and he said you're filtering out uranium as well as doing the water softening. You can tell by the labeling on the system. I'm not sure if it's uranium or if it's radon, but
We got a radon system separate from that too.
well, yeah, but you know, it comes in the water and it comes. Well,
We had the one down here, takes it over the basement.
Yeah.
Because of a lot of ledge.
Something in there. What anyway, I think the systems need to be maintained, and I don't know if anything's been done on them for a while. The water quality folks said the one that the state installed hasn't really been touched since 2012. But it doesn't mean it's not doing the filtration, but
Right.
it's leaking pretty bad.
So is that the carbon filters that
Yeah.
it's leaking?
Yep. There's a big fiberglass tank about 6-7 feet tall.
Yeah. Should we get another opinion? Maybe another estimate to, we got two different companies looking at it, right?
Well,
Two different systems.
two different systems, and the companies that installed them are looking at doing the estimates.
Okay. Okay.
I don't know whether I propose replacing the system or finding somebody else to maintain them. But maybe.
If I remember right, some water was like $3,000, wasn't it?
1,500. I believe it was around 1,500 or so, 1,800.
And that included replacing the valve and
Yeah.
putting a new motor in, because, I mean, we was looking at it the other day, it isn't even plugged in up there.
Yeah, he had that whole list when he came out to look of what he was gonna repair.
I think they originally installed that system.
Ward Water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Charlie.
Can you just explain for the record what systems you have going on in there? You said there's two different systems. Can you just explain that real quick?
There's the water quality system, and water quality is the company, I think, that installed it, but it was a state.
That's the state system.
That's the state system, and that's to filter out the volatile organic compounds.
Yep. Okay.
And then behind that is the Ward Water system, which I've been told is to filter out uranium and do water treatment, which is water softening.
Okay.
Yeah, because that one's got a fire tank on it.
Yeah. Right.
Thank you.
We might want to have
have them just check that too, because I know our insurance companies asked about that, if we have a plan for, it's working, you can hear it working out there and stuff.
What are you hearing? What is it? What are you talking about?
It's a radon, treatment thing.
Where is it?
It's outside the building, but it goes down into the cellar.
Okay, I didn't even know you had one. Okay.
Not really a water treatment, it's just a,
It's more gas, isn't it?
yeah.
It's outside the cellar.
Is that like the looking thing out
That's
there?
what that is.
That's what that is, okay.
That's a stored water piece of equipment?
What's that?
Do you have a meter on it? Did you take readings? Is there a meter on it to take readings?
We never have.
No, those things are, pretty much it's just an exhaust fan, and it blows air.
And
It
same
sucks it
levels.
up.
So I think- Yeah, well, I think the bottom end of the pipe is, down into the sump drain there.
Yeah.
And, somebody at some point decided that's the place to,
They do it, back then, it was going on a lot of houses. I don't see it so much now. But I'm gonna say, I thought they also, when they're down on houses, they was, they took readings and stuff on it. That's why I asked, because I never see a meter down there either when I've been down there.
Yeah.
well, they, right on the, drop a canister or something in there, send it off to the lab.
What company installed that? You
I don't know.
You don't know?
That's been there a long
I think
time.
well, I think the school district did that.
We might have an old file on it.
Probably not. This was before his
Before his time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, that's all discussion I have,
So we just wait for those two.
yeah, we'd wait and see what they got, I mean,
Yeah, it does, yeah. Review classroom damage. All not repaired, hire contractor to do work. We're gonna look into another company, another basement company to see if, get another opinion.
I think we got it.
I think we should, yeah.
Just wanted to ducks up a little idea. We'll just give somebody $10,000.
Right, yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Really?
Let's see, yes?
Yeah. Selectmen's priority list of town office, community center, building repairs to have funding available. Old office pad.
This is just a, quick list that Debbie and I could put together, so. The ARPA money, application went in, for $171,000. So we just didn't know, if we get funding, that it would apply to this building if the selectmen have a priority list on what's gonna be done first. So when we do get the money in place, you guys know where we're at, I guess.
And they all look pretty important. Painting.
We're concerned that over here is gonna ice up again,
Yeah.
and it's gonna leak.
Mm-hmm.
It has not been repaired, and we just put a bucket underneath it and dump it out. So, there's quite a bit, I don't know what's going on, but it will happen, inevitable.
yeah.
should be at the top of the list, towards the top. I think the water damage should be the first. Icing, and leak, old town, old office, and
What's included in this one, old office and
That would be the, I guess, where, Mr. Bozart looked again, that whole side, it was like falling, isn't it all rotted?
on the outside.
He looked at it outside, and it was like that
Spacious,
whole
yeah.
roof, there was something going on there.
Yeah.
And we kinda left it because it was, more expensive than I think that was assumed, so.
I think anything to do with water should be addressed really quick, like, that'll just get worse. I think they're all important. Boiler, falling tires and paint can wait.
Well, them fallen tiles, we ought to be addressing them before it gets much worse.
What are we talking about?
Well, in the classroom down here, in the gym,
Yeah.
then in the classroom that Mary used to have, we got the 6 tiles that have fallen down there.
Okay.
They just need to be, they've been stapled up, you know, and, yeah, you're right, I see you laughing. They've been pulled down and stuff, so the weight of the tiles pulled through the staple.
That's pretty easy fix,
If we can get somebody to do it.
Yeah.
But I think we ought to be looking for somebody to do some of these. This problem's been going on for years, because they've replaced, you know, if you look in the grade 1 classroom down here, it's got those fender washers up there holding the tiles
Yeah,
up and stuff.
yeah.
So, I mean, this isn't
Yeah.
something new.
Guess we just wanted to start the conversation, to see if there was gonna be a list at some point of it.
Yeah.
Well, in my opinion, the water treatment system would be at the top of the list.
But we've already got that started.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know how much it's gonna cost.
So, is that the water filtration system is the same thing? 21? Yeah.
Yeah, because you need water.
And we got these new laws coming at us now, where they're gonna be checking for lead and stuff. So I think that's an important thing too.
Yeah. Lead in the water and.
Yeah.
Maybe something, just something add, we have to add to it.
We might have to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the roof leaks. Would come second, I don't know. But there's several issues there, as I recall. There's one with mechanical one back here, right?
And that roof is soft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's one over here in the corner on the front where the two come together.
Yeah.
And it always ices up there and then leaks down inside.
Yeah.
We've done some work on that. Are you talking, when you come through the door where the alarm system is?
The tile is completely gone,
Yeah.
and the insulation's falling apart, and it always leaks right there. We put a bucket underneath it.
That looks to me like it's a shingle on the outside. You know, it's part of the old roof. And we don't even have a ladder to get up there. You know, to check stuff out. That's kinda.
Well, I got all kinds of ladders on.
We got a job for you, Bob.
Shall we also approve?
I might not be with the ladder. All right, well.
so when are we gonna get it done? I said, we looked at and get some prices and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm almost at the point where instead of, I'm like Kyle Landry, instead of putting it out to bid and getting no bids, if you get somebody to do it, just get it done.
I think right now, you're right, yeah.
Yeah, they're having an awful time in the school district right now.
Getting contractor work done and stuff like
There's so much work and nobody has to bid anything.
that. Oh, yeah.
You know, so if he can get somebody to come in and do it, he just does it, gets it done.
So should we, like you said, get people in here to give it, eventually, I mean, not right now, but to get, look at it and look at these problems and see what, we're already addressing the water. We're already addressing the water damage in the classroom. Taking the building, fallen tiles and maybe the roof work could all be pumped into one.
I think it would.
Yeah.
It's 2-3 full day of work here and stuff.
Yeah.
And stuff, so.
We get one contractor to do those.
We had Danny Boutron doing some work and stuff.
Yeah.
Then he got busy doing some other stuff. Like to keep it within the town if we could.
Right, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but you might not be able to right now.
Fred Meyer's gonna talk to his friends as well.
What's that?
Fred Meyer, we saw him last week.
Oh, Fred, I
He's
could talk
gonna
to
talk to Kevin, I guess.
Kevin and, Dale. Yeah.
Yeah, this Dale he wants to talk to.
Yeah. He'd be a good one.
All right, well, here's the question. They get somebody in here and they said it's gonna cost $10,000 to fix all the roof leaks. And, well, let's just say to do all the roof leaks and then around in the back.
Mm-hmm.
How would we pay them?
Right now, we couldn't. Well, is it any money in the,
We'll have to find out what Debbie
Yeah.
can the building fund.
All right, well, we probably ought to look at that.
yeah,
And, I mean, I think there's some money in the reserve account for the town buildings. But I think it requires a vote of the town meeting. Well, I'll look at it and see.
so we have to,
But, you know, we do have something generally in the, I don't know which warrant item it is, but we have one that's usually covers the, building operations.
Yeah, it's one of the first office.
Yeah, and there's usually a little bit of money in there for minor repairs and stuff. Or we have to look to see what the balance is.
Hi, I'm listening to you in there.
Yeah.
You guys can use that $7,500 that's just sitting in there.
Yeah, right. That's the one that came from the, solar.
Right.
Right.
I mean, so that would take a chunk of that off
Yeah.
to
No,
start.
Thank you. The, I think probably what we're gonna need to do is fix the water system back here first. I don't know what that's gonna cost, but
Yeah.
You know, that might be $4,000 or $5,000 total there.
Yeah.
But then the question was, if we tried to fix some leaks, on the back of the roof, there's various places back here where
Mhm.
water gets in. And it came up to, I don't know, $8,000-10,000, where would we get the money? Without going to a town meeting, get special approval?
Well, as long as you don't go over the 10 grand, you could pull it out of the building reserve account.
Really?
Mhm.
So it says,
Mhm. So between that and the 7,500, you should be able to get a few things done,
okay.
right?
They're already.
Yeah.
Good thing we have you around.
What's that?
Good thing we have you around.
Well, I'm good in there, and I figured I'd listen to you guys. I mean, I can't sit in here, but,
That's cool.
yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
So should we find somebody to give us an estimate on the roof weekend and the tiles?
I think we should, get something started.
Okay. To get the water filtration, you know, getting that set up now. He said that, Danielle said that Fred might have been asked his boys.
Well, I can start calling now that I know we have a game plan, I guess.
Yeah.
You guys are all set with it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now that we know some of the money's that comes in.
Does Fred Howell cars do,
He used to.
well, he built houses and stuff like
He,
that? Is he another one that would be involved in that?
Yeah.
Bill?
Yeah. He,
Here's what the road can be.
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
He's another one.
I think you're gonna find that they'll do a time and materials. You know, they're not a big job. Unless you do, I mean, if you're doing that boiler or something, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
A whole different ballgame.
Right, yeah.
We've got 3 builders in town that we just listed, so just start
At
there.
least ask,
That's
see.
it, yeah. Yeah. All right, this is a good plan going here. So, just reminder, Tuesday, October 26th, is that still up in the air for the,
No, I just checked email, not to interrupt, but it's, Tuesday, November 9th is the joint Selectmen Planning Board meeting with Southern Maine Planning. And then voting and special town meeting is Tuesday, November 2nd. Special town meeting at 6. I think voting is usually 8 to 8, isn't it?
yeah.
And, yeah, we got the special town meeting that night at 6
6 p.m., yep.
p.m. That's to seek approval for the fire department study.
The warrant is in the shopper's guide this week. It's gonna run again next week. Oh, how about signing the warrant? Sound like a good idea?
No.
Looking at the timeline for application for a TIF.
Yeah,
We won't make it.
no?
No.
Uh-oh.
Have to have your application in by the 1st of March. And with special dispensation, they're getting it in by the 31st of March. You know, I guess if you got a special case, they'll work it for you. But there's a whole host of things that you have to already have done. So if before you put your application in, which, and one of them includes a special town meeting where the whole thing, proposition is approved by the town. There's a lot of documentation and stuff, so, you know, there's a pretty big lead up to doing a TIF.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there's one going.
Wish there was.
Alright?
You gotta wish there was.
Any thoughts on moderators for this one?
What will take it?
Norm?
Norm, yeah.
David Sprock seems to be pretty busy lately.
Right.
Yeah.
There's 85,000 in our town building fund balance.
Oh.
We have to deduct 12,000 for the lighting project, so there's still a balance of around 70,000.
Yeah.
So,
So
you guys can use that if you want.
Thanks, Deb.
You're welcome.
Did you do a lighting program this year? Lighting project this year?
Last year.
that was, yeah, for solar, for the, yeah, we did, LED, like, lighting it. Pretty big light, that's the one for, street lighting here.
It should have been long paid for.
That should have been,
Yeah, a year ago, paid for.
yeah.
Okay.
All right, Kathy, got anything?
No, a lot of things are sort of on hold till we find out how people are doing and COVID thing and so forth, so the fire department dinner is waiting.
Yeah.
We're doing a little bit at the library. The rug hookers show up twice a month, and we've had a couple local little events. We did a puzzle swap, had an author of a puzzle book come in, and she was pretty amazing with the stuff that she had to tell us about, but nice additions to the collection. A lot of donated books, many of them are, not really worthy to be put on the shelf, but, you know, go for the effort. So, we're doing okay at the moment. We'll find out with the heat pumps, you know, how that's gonna play out financially for the system.
Yeah.
Don't know yet. Bill's just started putting on the heat, so
Yeah.
we'll find out.
Yeah, it's been pretty nice up till now.
No kidding, right?
Yeah.
But the furnace was serviced, and unfortunately, it was a new, young tech. He really didn't know how to answer any of the questions that I had, so I'm gonna call and get one of the old guys to come and say, okay, let's put together a sheet that says to whoever's volunteering, if there's a problem, who do you call, what do you do, you know, make it simple. Because right now, the booklet on the little meters and so forth, it's like, yeah, I can understand it because I've dealt with things, but, you know, not everybody's got that. So, gotta keep it simple. We're moving in a forward direction.
Yeah, good. All right.
Thanks.
Mary, you got anything? What's that? Bruce?
Yeah, tank truck's being torn apart again, right back to square one.
No kidding.
Back to square one. What they did find, the depth crystallized. And they're thinking the only way it can crystallize is somebody puts some additive to it.
Really?
And people have asked about it, they're saying no, it wasn't. But, so they've done an analysis on it, and it was right. There's additive dumped into it.
Okay.
So they sent it out, they have the depth, the stuff in the depth tank.
Yeah.
Checked out, and it showed signs of the stuff being in additives. So apparently somebody had done that. They're right back to square one, that goes and out, you know, the depth in the engine, replacing it, put it out. Last I knew, we're not gonna take this one off, because, it will have a warranty on it.
Good.
This is the same truck you need your water damage and everything else?
And she said they would cut, some of that back, especially on the house. What it is, I don't have a total bill, and I'd asked for it last week, I asked for it, was more important. They did run it for 2 hours, because they would run it, and by the time we get to the mall back here, the thing would be back on. So they run it 2 hours, so we're not running to a power mill all over the place, running around, nothing. So we called them and said, looks like it was all right, come get it. And meantime, the guy that was working on it said he wanted to take it up. They'd done this in the morning, and it was the afternoon when I was talking to him. He said, I want to check it one more time before I came in and picked it up.
Yeah.
20 minutes, half hour later, I get a call saying the light came back on. So, and that's when they started, doing this other check.
Yeah.
And found that. So I'm hoping by the end of the week, if not first next week, we'll be back in this.
So they pretty confident that that's what the problem was, and
They believe, that was it. Because what they did, they checked things in there, but they didn't check, to see what was going on. The other thing that I will say, that we're gonna start practicing, and I talked to them about it, they said, do it. What do we do, not run these enough? Keep our depth tanks half or less, but don't let it get much more. Because this stuff is only good for a year in a set station. Like they said, most trucks, will use, the tank in a week's time.
yeah.
And we're just sitting there leaving it in there. So what they're saying, keep it down, so we're always putting something fresh, back.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to me, as long as you don't put it too back there.
Right. Yeah.
But when we fill it up, it can sit there for a couple of years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Other than that, not too much. East Baldwin, they're gonna move the gas tanks out underneath the eaves finally, we're talking to them today. And they're gonna give me a quote about putting in Renai gas heater in the bathroom to keep that warm instead of like a heater.
Oh.
So if that's what I'm working on, I don't know, if they're gonna work a price off and send it to me. So I don't know too much about that. The tree did disappear down there last week. I don't know if you guys noticed it, not the tree's gone.
See,
So,
who took that down?
CMP.
Oh, they
Yeah,
did?
they hired somebody to do it, but I went through CMP to have it done. I don't know what crew it was. I was there in the morning, I came back in the afternoon, the pieces laying on the ground. I was hoping they was gonna take the big pieces. I don't want to do nothing, but they're in the back of the truck, then every once in a while, drop them off to the house. I haven't unloaded it yet. I guess other than that, the study, the stuff coming up as well, mentioned. I only wish that the TIF money was there. Because I can see after the study, we're gonna wish it was here. We're gonna be sitting on something for 10 years, and I really don't wanna do that. Because just like you, just trying to figure out where to get the money.
Yeah.
We're gonna have that same problem.
Yeah. Is that a one-shot deal, or the tip money, is that
It depends on, when the project starts. So you wanna draw a boundary around the area that's being developed. And, the value, that you send to, the state for approval is the value, the pre-improvement value. So if the solar company starts developing it next spring, and we haven't put in a tip application, we're probably in a good spot. But it was interesting, but they haven't come back and talked to us about it either, about a tip. The last communication I had with them was, come talk to us about what you want for a tip.
Yeah.
And received it.
The big discrepancy too, remembering about the total bill, right? How many meetings and places work.
Yeah, I mean,
the
that's-
county came in with one price, and then he told us another one is even higher than that, that he'd seen someplace else, and they're coming in with a lower price.
Yeah,
yeah, those things to be worked out, but the, so far we don't have anything.
No, that's just it.
Yep. The timeline is pretty short. And, you know, if it takes 4 months to do the study, if we get it approved in a couple of weeks, in 4 months, we're already beyond the gate, so,
I guess we should have started last year,
yeah.
or last summer.
Anything else? Chad, you
Oh,
think?
wait a minute, I do have one. Do they have the deed, you guys, lease?
I saw that, yeah. I saw it,
You saw it?
yeah.
Gonna do anything with it? I mean, what's the process to go from here now, so I'm gonna do that.
I don't know. You know what he's talking about?
No.
North Baldwin.
Oh, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know,
Nothing's changed,
don't you?
I found the old one, and it's the same as the old one. The only thing, the dad said he'd go 3 years as opposed to 2. I tried the 5, and when he walked out the door, he says, 3, and that's it, he walked out, so. That was the old one, so nothing other than that.
Who built it? Who built the,
The townspeople built all 3 of the stations, members of the townspeople. They got the lumber off, and some of it came from the town farm, some of it.
Mm-hmm.
Others came from other people's woodlots.
Yeah.
My father had horses, I think it was Lester Wood's woodlot. Well, he's Walter Station down here, because Dad ran into all the logs out with his horses.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that going on now.
so if I read the lease correctly, it talks about, the building belongs to, your dad,
Mm-hmm.
doesn't it?
Technically, no. That was thrown in there a few years ago.
Because there's no official deed to it. The only deed that there is what the land is.
Yeah,
He
that's
has-
why I said this time we should be looking at the septic tank, the well, and all that, at least they're mentioned,
Right,
because it's never been mentioned before.
right, because back when that was originally done, it was just,
Even
Two babies sat on it.
Even when Dee and Carol was around, like I said, it was just a good thing, and they didn't even, Dee wanted the thing written, but Carol really didn't care what was written.
Right.
I mean, as fresh as that, I can remember, really, they wanted it by word of mouth, and that was it.
He's probably one of the original ones right there,
Yeah,
no doubt in my mind.
she wanted it so that there would be no drinking down
And that
there.
was stated in there.
Yeah.
That was stated in there.
Ricky Burial broke that.
Did we ever run it by, town lawyer?
Yep. He's the one that said that the building belongs to my father.
See, right up until then, and I'm not arguing, against Jim or anything, I'm just trying to tell you what I remember. That's always been the members of the organization's building, but not the land.
Right.
And then somewhere within the last, 10 years or so, maybe more, I don't know when, that got thrown in.
Yeah, I think because David looked at it and said that because the only deed that there is because of the land, and that's what makes it the building my father's. That's what his interpretation of it.
I think this is something we need, if you get the lawyers to look at it, especially with the study coming out, I think it needs to be looked at. Because that could be a good determining factor to have.
It's just a point, I don't know. I don't think it has anything to do with the study, does it? The study will look at the
Well,
functionality.
if it's not owned by the town, how, you mentioned this, all 3 of them, how can you keep putting money in something that's not owned by the town?
Yeah.
So I do think it's part of the study.
be something to think about anyway, something that should be factored in somewhere.
Alright. I'm gonna do some digging in the files here.
Oh, MMA don't like it.
No. Because it isn't owned by the town.
No.
Yeah, town equipment.
Well, they're insuring it, and they don't know who's rightful owner. They kinda, right now, they're kinda turning their head.
Cause doesn't it say in the original, that stops being a town, fire station that goes back to the heirs?
I believe there's something, the exact word, and I don't remember.
West Baldwin says that.
Yeah, yeah.
Goes back to down in.
That one's a little different too, because theirs is just on the land too, that it's sitting on. That one's a little different. The only one that's gonna be free and clear is east.
East Owen, yeah.
That one would be, as far as the town concerned, is free and clear. There's no lease or anything tied to it.
Right, yeah. That was one of the stipulations my grandmother put out there, cause they let them put the building on there, and I said, well, it's not gonna be fire station anymore, it would go back to the heirs.
And I've always understood that since I've been here.
Yeah.
Once it ceased to be a fire company.
Right. Is it still a fire company? I mean, it's not volunteer fire department,
I don't think it
Joe.
says anything about organization or anything like that. There again, I would love to see the original old leases, leases.
The lease?
I'm sure there's language in there that probably you and I don't even know is there.
Probably. I know my father's got the original copy of that. I might even have it, I'm not sure.
I'll see what I can find.
That's all I
But that was my only thought was, was the ownership of it, of the building, but, if we don't use it anymore, so what?
I intend to use it. I don't intend to give it up.
It's pretty important up there.
That's what I say.
Very important.
You've got 5 to 10 minutes at most. 5 to 7 is critical of saving or not saving anyone's lives or building.
Right.
After 10 minutes, you pretty much write it off, and I hate to say that, because probably everyone's gonna hit me, but that's what happens.
Well, it gives them a chance, the fire gets a chance to
The
get
fire
going
will
with
just
it.
keep, reproducing itself.
Exactly.
At a great percentage.
Yeah.
And you probably would be. Get hold of Hiram and Surveyor. They're a lot closer than we are.
I think that's what's coming up.
That's probably what would happen. Hyman's Surveyor will be called and
Mutual aid.
That's another thing. I've talked to Green and I've talked to, Karen a little bit about it. We're gonna have to get together with these other stations and start doing more of that. When you was in there, we talked about it, but it never really materialized.
Right.
If anything, we bucket heads against it.
Yeah.
I'd rather see that we didn't do that, so we can't help each other out, because manpower is gone. And it isn't just our town,
Yeah.
it's every town around.
Exactly.
And us.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we used to have a pretty close relationship with Sebago, and we used to train with them years and years ago. I think once the Greens took over, and changed.
It was time to drop that.
Yeah.
Bullcrap and
Yeah.
move on.
Well, we depend on each one of them. They depend on us.
Right.
That's why, and I know, I think sometimes he doesn't see where I'm coming from, but, yeah, we got all these trucks, but you don't realize that if we had a fire, we gotta be pulling the same amount of trucks from all around us, and we need water, and you gotta haul it. You don't have hydrants, you can just go up and valve. And it's the same when we go elsewhere, we're getting so now, we'll take an engine and a tanker with us, but it's more than likely that tanker's gonna keep going straight through.
Right.
More than likely, even the standards.
Yeah. Especially up in this area where, this time of year where the water's low, and, our brook has come up a little bit last,
It was overflowing, and I see it drop the other day.
Yeah.
So I gotta get in there and stop this and leave. And I'll keep like this.
But you do it, you put cow manure in one time.
Yeah, horse.
Horse, yeah. Horse.
It works. It works.
Yeah. Stuff up the hole. Chad, you got anything? Okay. Danielle?
Oh, just, finalizing that warrant, do we want another meeting before it goes to the printer to review it again? Or what's gonna be mailed out at its entirety?
Ready to look at now?
Not yet, no, but I'm just looking forward, if you want to do that at some point.
Yeah, I kind of go over, I think it's a good idea.
Get your input on cover, how you wanna word it, selectmen's report, letter, explaining what it is.
Yeah, I'm just supposed to draft it for you. I'll do that.
When's it going out?
First week in November is the goal, so.
So,
It's right on us.
Yeah.
next week's workshop, are you ready for that?
You wanna look at it?
Next week's workshop?
That's
Okay.
the goal.
Alright.
And I did get a request from Southern Maine Planning, they said, oh, when do we send in our budget request? How do you want to do that for like the annual, wait till May?
Yeah, you can tell them that we have, I think we budgeted a half, a 6 month in the warrant there, right?
We did.
Yeah, tell them we just planned a 6 month half payment to them for, the January to June 30th period.
Should I just ask them to make sure it would be the same request? Does it matter? You could always make up for it in May, I guess.
Or, you know, if they've got a different number, we can adjust it right away.
That's what I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I'll ask them just what they're,
And, then we do the full amount for the next.
Okay. Got it.
It's usually not much, just a few $100 a month.
Southern Maine, I'm sorry, Southern Maine Agency on Aging, different Southern Maine.
Oh,
I think it's a couple of thousand, maybe 1,000 or something.
okay. It should be all right.
Yep. Okay.
Anything else, Bob?
Yeah.
Joy?
No, Randy, I haven't heard nothing on Randy.
Yep, Randy came in yesterday, he's still in a boot, cannot work. He has to pick up Friday and it's healing, but it's very slow. He did turn off the water and drained it into the cellar.
So that's done?
That's all done, yep, and he checked the water system while he was here, and I told him what the deal is with that. But he put the red tear in it and topped it off.
That ain't even working.
I didn't think it was, but, we just, it's doing something, cause it's going down in level. He said it was almost empty.
The salt and stuff is and everything, but the pump ain't even plugged in there, Daniel.
It's going somewhere.
Yeah, well, I don't
That's
know
why
what's
he
going,
was so
did he?
concerned, because he says, it's slow, do you want me to, I said, just go ahead,
Keep doing it.
Alright. Any more?
Stan just sent the ladder truck up here.
Yeah, I heard him on the radio.
Yeah, so we got that done. Get the new rope put on. We got the, light fixed down at East Ball, at the, you know, the memorial, yeah. So that worked pretty good.
They gave in some training to do.
What's that?
They gave in some training to do.
Well, I think it just shows you one hand's washing the other. You know, I mean, them guys was real interested in doing that.
There's a flag. Flag.
So I said, the training's got to do.
Flag.
Is the light on?
Good, Billy?
I don't know, haven't seen it.
I guess I will when I go out.
Well, no, that's one here, you can put it on.
Like, couldn't put it on.
No, this is, you got a cap that's all cast in one piece, it goes over the top, and the thing where the pulley goes has been welded on the side of the pole. So we're gonna, yeah, it's right,
You don't have room to do anything.
yeah. So we're gonna have to come up with another light that shines from the bottom up.
It clamps to the bottom.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
hmm. All right. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?